Hey everyone, we're going to be talking about Soraten, the Wind Dancer. He is one of the six elven races, the Sky Elf. Let me show you his artwork real quick, and then we'll jump right in, and there he is. Cool. This guy has double-sided powers, so very unique in the sense that his gameplay is quite different than, imagine like Fizzleboom in the base game or Aiden. They just plays a little bit different in how their powers are used. So let's go over his role card real quick and I'll break down the always active and how he plays. So the team game is he has two solo game and team game. At the start of each round, flip one power to either ground or flight. Just so we could take a look real quick, this is a ground ability, this is a flight ability. So you can kind of flip flop them around. Choose a partner. You and that other player may share dice this round. So if I flip, I can share dice, and another player could have access to 12 dice, which is very cool. Whenever you and your partner each activate an ability from your own player board, Soraten makes an attack dealing 2 damage. So say I make a partnership with Anmei, Anmei activates an ability, and Soraten activates an ability, I would make an attack dealing 2 damage. That's pretty nice. At the start of each round, so you get a benefit for actually sharing the dice versus giving them all to one person, but you're more than welcome to give 12 dice to someone. Start of each round, flip one power to either ground or flight. It's the same thing up here. But each time you activate 2 abilities this round, choose either deal 2 damage or just 1 die by up to 1. Okay, cool. Let's go over this always active now, and then we'll go over some abilities. When a ground ability is activated, flip it to the flight, and when a flight ability is activated, flip it to ground. So if I activate this, flip over, boom, vice versa. So for each point of damage Soraten takes, he either flips a ground power to flight or discards a flight power. So if you were to take, let's say right now we took 4 damage, I would flip over these ground powers here, and the 4th damage I would permanently lose a power because this is technically the exhaust. Imagine this is the exhausted side. So if you take damage when everything's flipped over, you permanently lose a power. So there you go. So for every point of damage Soraten takes, he either flips a ground power to flight or discards a flight power. Effects that exhaust powers turn ground powers to their flight side. So if it says exhaust, all of your powers, everything would go to the flight side from ground. Ground powers are considered unexhausted, and flight powers are considered exhausted for purpose of effects and abilities, so traps, monster effects, etc., etc. After activating a ground ability, Soraten can only activate a flight ability and vice versa. So if I activate this ground ability, next I have to activate a flight, and then I have to activate a ground. So I would activate this, it would flip over, and I have to activate a flight ability, and then boom, I have to activate a ground ability. He may not activate the same power in any given round. So if I activate this and it flips over to flight, I can't activate the flight side of this. He may not activate the same power in any given round. One power is considered both its flight and ground side. We kind of double down on the language. When spending morale or replacing a power, you may choose the side to set each power on. For starting 6 powers, you may choose for each if they start on the ground or flight side. I find that starting maybe 2 flight and 4 ground is pretty good, and starting off like 3 flight and 3 ground, and then jumping directly into a flight power first, and then you would activate a ground second. And there's actually tokens that you put on the cards, knowing that, hey, I activated this power, I can't. And there's a giant token that you put on his roll card, and it lets you know, like, I have to activate a ground next, I have to activate a flight, because the next combat you may forget, wait, was I on flight or ground? So there is a giant token that you flip each time you activate one or the other. Let's take a look at some of his abilities. Like, let's look at Twisting Truth. It's one of his. He's got some really cool abilities and some simple abilities, but let's take a look at this one. Remove this power and another power from the game. At the end of the round, before spending morale, gain an additional player attack phase. You cannot refresh powers before the second player attack phase. And the bottom is no cost. Before rolling, choose an ability. You may activate that ability twice before it exhausts. You must pay the cost for both activations. If you fail to activate it twice, lose a die the next round of this combat. And then the backside, you and your partner draw 2 powers and may replace powers on your player board with the drawn powers. Discard the rest. You cannot refill powers on your player boards. Your powers must come into play on flight. Replace this power afterwards. So it's a nice little power replacement. So you flip your roll, you activate this, you can cycle out some powers, get some new ones. Could work as a heal too, since you can replace the other character can replace exhausted powers. Deal 8 damage, replace his power. You deal 1 attack equal to the damage your partner dealt this turn, this round. Max 15. So we missed, we tried to correct all the language, but it looks like we missed one. So this round, and the max is 15. So there's a replacement effect on here because you may get this in a solo game, and I don't want people to have powers that don't do anything in solo. So I tried to add replacement effects now to all those powers. Yeah, and let's look over another one. So this one here. Deal 4 damage. If this is the last ability you activate this round, you may flip a ground power. So this last ability activated, I can flip a ground to flight. And then the bottom is deal 6 damage, multi-attack 2. Multi-attack 2 means I need to split this into however many attacks I want, or into 2 attacks. I can split it to deal 4 damage and deal 2 damage, deal 5 damage, deal 1 damage, you decide. Increase the cost by 2 wild dice to instead deal 9 damage with multi-attack 3. And from below, target a power in a player's discard. You can activate one of its abilities this round. The ability costs 1 less die. Remove that power from the game at the end of the round. And yep, the bottom is deal 2 damage for each ability your partner activates this round, or deal 2 damage for each ground power on your player board. Then replace the power. Cool. That is Soraten in a nutshell. Really cool character, and really fun to play solo, but also in a group. He's kind of a solo king because of his play style, so you can definitely play him solo or take him in a group and enjoy the partnership mechanic. If you have any questions, please comment below, and I will answer all questions. Take care, and bye.